In this podcast, I'm going to discuss the creation and spread of the Orient and Orientalism through various mediums. So, what is Orient and Orientalism, and what do they mean or what do they stand for? The word Orient refers to the countries of Middle East and Asia, and the term Orientalism, as written in Cambridge Dictionary, refers to the Western ideas about the Middle East, Asia, and Southeast Asia, especially ideas that are too simple or not accurate about these societies being mysterious, never changing, or not able to develop in a modern way without Western help. From this definition, we can see that Orientalism, as an idea, is a wrong interpretation of Eastern societies, civilizations, and their cultures by Western thinkers. However, just like with everything, there's more to Orientalism than this simple definition. My definition and an attempt at interpretation of Orientalism will also not be perfect and will probably not describe it as a whole, but I will try my best with the information that I have. Orientalism, broadly speaking, is the simplification of the Eastern civilizations. Now, the dictionary meaning of the word Orient refers to the Eastern countries, and Orientalism is thought to be the West's idea of the East. But the Americas at the time of their discovery can also be included in this definition. In our discussion sections, we talked about the goal and the idea behind Orientalism and its purpose. Orientalism is the sum of ideas and worldviews that are created to serve power, aka the kingdoms of Europe. It is, as phrased in class, an imposed myth to serve a power's needs. This extends the simple definition of the Orientalism. It introduces a power dynamic, a hegemonic relation between Europe and others. Here, in my last sentence, the use of the word others to refer to Eastern and American civilizations in the late 15th century can also be tied to Orientalism. Defining and referring the newly discovered or opposing societies as others is a step towards dehumanizing them, which helps another key purpose of Orientalism: expansion and source extraction. The quote unquote civilized, cultured, and scientific West uses various mediums such as visual arts, music, law, philosophy, and academia to describe the Orient. These mediums help to create and spread the Occident's biased and narrow perspective of the Orient. In the painting named Lapis Polaris Magnes, we can see an old man, presumably a member of the high economic class, doing science. Various scientific devices such as a telescope, a globe, maps, and other measurement instruments are present, indicating that this man is from an advanced society with science and critical thinking. Similar items are also seen in another painting depicting the arrival of Columbus to the Americas. The painting is clearly divided into two sides. On the left side, there's a ship with winds blowing its sails. We see Columbus, well dressed, holding a flag with the Christian cross on one hand and a scientific navigational instrument on the other hand. Cultured, civilized. On the right side, we see a woman that had just woken up from her sleep on a hammock, naked. We see naked men in the background cooking a human limb on wood fire. Animals live close by, and there's a spear-like tool resting near a tree, implying to the observer, us, that these people the Amerindians in this case, are not people, just savages in human shape, cannibals without science and God. This extreme and untrue depiction of the natives helps the colonizers dehumanize them and fit their policies to their morals. They use also philosophical concepts to push their view. One such example is essentialism, the view that things, people, or categories possess inherent unchanging properties or an essence that defines their identity. By defining the Orient to fit their politics and desires, the scientists of the West try to say that it is only natural for the civilized to colonize and help the uncivilized. They pass laws such as the Edict of Expulsion of the Jews, 1492, to segregate certain groups and natives by their culture or religion and expand their territories. They publish academic papers such as the prologue to Grammar of Life by Nabriha that suggests the kingdom to standardize language so that they can more efficiently enforce it in newly conquered lands and structure those societies to fit their criteria. They use auditory elements from the Orient's culture in their Western, sophisticated, and scientific musical pieces. An example of that is Shikoshi Shikoshi by Gaspar Fernandez. Um, so they use elements from these auditory elements from the native societies and cultures to offer a biased perspective to the average citizen. They label the Orient and the Americas or Amerindians as exotic areas of interest and study that can only exist and be understood through their methods of research and academical practices. These ideas, created by the quote unquote thinkers of the society, is then pushed from top down to the citizens and colonies, which then pass it on to their kids and create generational biases, which then fuel expansion of the kingdoms. So, in conclusion, all of these efforts, these artistic, academic, and politic ideas are conveyed through various mediums like paintings, music, laws, and academic papers slash discussions. Now, with this knowledge, we can certainly say that Orientalism is much more complicated and brutal than just a simple misunderstanding and serves a clear purpose: colonialism. Absolutely no AI was used in the making of this podcast.